There are definitely examples there of trans women to biological males in female prisons, but I'm concerned it's not as prominent, or it's not happening as much as people believe it's happening. Have you ever sort of questioned yourself on this?
Yeah, I think you asked two different questions there. You ask, am I in an echo chamber, or do I worry that I am? And is it a big issue? So I worry about the echo chamber all the time. And in particular, it's very difficult to talk to people who disagree with me on this, because they universally say that I'm a Nazi, I'm hateful, I'm, the maddest things, like that I'm an anti-Semite or something. Like, where they get that one from? And I'd love to sit down and talk to people who disagree with me on this. And I try, and the invitation is out there and has been out there since 2017 and almost never has been taken up. The other question, I'm really certain that this is a big issue. And the reason, well, the first reason is just that it's easy to look at a system that was set up one way, and then you introduce a loophole into it, and you wait a couple of years and you say, oh, but nothing bad has happened. Actually, big societal changes take decades to play out. So what we've done by saying that any man who says he's a woman can come into women's spaces, it's not going to be clear how many men will do that for quite a while, because men now were brought up and born at a time that you didn't do that, and most men have never even thought about it. But if you open a loophole, it's the worst people who go through it. So if you think about, and this is, it's always difficult to do analogies in this because people really deliberately misunderstand you. So if you think about safeguarding, think about keeping children safe. If you've ever gone into schools, at least in the UK, you have to do safeguarding checks. They look to see your criminal record and so on. And they do it for everybody, 100% of everybody. And the reason is because when they didn't do that, precisely the wrong people came in. So I was brought up in Ireland, and, as we all know, the Catholic Church had paedophiles hiding within it. And I'm old enough to remember people saying of priests that they wouldn't do such a thing. That those were men who had taken vows of chastity, for example, and you were told that you were anti-Catholic, you were anti the church, that you were causing trouble, et cetera, if you said that there were bad people in the priesthood and in the various holy orders. And then they learned, you don't need very many people to use a loophole when people are being harmed by it. And the people who use the loophole are precisely the worst people. And the longer you leave the loophole open, the wider it gets and the more people come through it. So if you say that a man who says he's a lesbian can come into lesbian-only spaces, or a man who says that he's the mother of his child, not the father, can come into a breastfeeding support charity, you won't get the average man. You also won't get very many men, but you will every now and then get one man, and he will be a very, very, very bad person. He will be the sort of man who knowingly and deliberately and taking delight in it likes to overstep women's boundaries. And you only need one. If you have one man who comes into a breastfeeding support organisation, I'm thinking of one particularly, La Leche League at the moment now says that men who identify as women can come to its support groups, which are women only, mother only, where you, by the way, you take your top off a lot of the time, Just one man coming into a space like that ruins it for every woman. Ruins it for every woman that those women tell to. The women will self-exclude. Other women will get to hear about it. Very quickly, the whole thing is destroyed because there's a social trust issue here. When you go into a women's space, you expect there to be, I often joke about it and say, no unexpected penis in the bagging area. The thing they say when you put your shopping down in the wrong place at the supermarket. Just happening once is absolutely traumatizing for people. And even the possibility that it could happen in somewhere like a breastfeeding support group, a rape crisis centre, a domestic violence shelter, women will self-exclude. So one man can really pollute the pool for a lot of people, and they're all women, remember. So, even if it's a small issue in terms of numbers, it's a large issue in terms of being able to run society in the way that women need it to be run.